Hello students, very good morning to all of you. In today's presentation we are going to discuss about prokaryotes and eukaryotes and the ultrastructure of bacteria. In previous lecture we discussed about introduction to pharmaceutical microbiology, in which we studied about what actually the microbiology is, what are the different branches of microbiology, what is the history of microbiology, what is the scope and importance of pharmaceutical microbiology. So in short, the microbiology is the study of microorganisms, the organisms which are of microscopic size, for example bacteria, fungi, algae, protozoa and many more. So their importance or their scope we have already studied. In today's presentation we are going to see in detail about the bacteria. But before looking at the structure of the bacteria, firstly we are going to discuss about the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. The contents of my today's presentation are the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, introduction to bacteria, morphological classification of bacteria, then structure of bacterial cell and endospores. The difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. With the introduction of electron microscopy, it was made possible to observe internal cell structures. In order to observe the internal cellular structure, the electron microscope is required. The internal cellular structure cannot be observed with the light microscope or compound microscope. So for that purpose electron microscope is required, and after the discovery of or introduction of electron microscopy, it was discovered that in some of the cells including bacteria, the genetic material, that is DNA or RNA, was not enclosed by a nuclear membrane, while in other cells like fungi, algae, protozoa, the nucleus was enclosed in a membrane that is called as nuclear membrane. So this resulted into the division of these organisms into two types, that is prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So the bacteria are usually the prokaryotic, means absence of nuclear membrane, or in simple word, the nucleus is absent. The genetic material or DNA is not surrounded by nuclear membrane. Those are prokaryotic. While in case of fungi, algae, protozoa, plant and animal cells, they are mainly called as eukaryotic, because there is presence of nuclear membrane or presence of the nucleus in these cells. So into the image you can see what is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. By looking at the image we come to know that the structure of eukaryotic cell is somewhat complex as compared to prokaryotic cells. The number of cellular organelles into the eukaryotic cell are more as compared to prokaryotic cell. Now into the actual difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes has been given. They can be differentiated on the basis of various characteristics that we will study one by one. First one is nucleus. As we already discussed that the nucleus is absent in prokaryotes while it is present in eukaryotes. Next one is nucleolus, which is absent in prokaryotes and present in eukaryotes. Then chromosome. The chromosome is one and circular in case of prokaryotes, while the chromosomes are more than one and its shape is linear in case of eukaryotes. Then mitotic division is absent in prokaryotes while mitotic division is present in eukaryotes. So division of the cells mainly takes place by mitosis in case of eukaryotes only, not in prokaryotes. So mitotic division is mainly responsible for reproduction or multiplication of cells, and that happens in case of eukaryotes only, while the prokaryotes do not multiply by the process of mitosis. There are other methods of reproduction like binary fission and many more in case of prokaryotes. Then certain cellular organelles are mainly absent in prokaryotes, while they are mainly present into eukaryotes, like For example, mitochondria, which is absent in prokaryotes while it is present in eukaryotes. Lysosomes, absent in prokaryotes, present in eukaryotes. Golgi apparatus, absent in prokaryotes, present in eukaryotes. Then endoplasmic reticulum, absent in prokaryotes, present in eukaryotes. Chloroplast, absent in prokaryotes, present in eukaryotes. Likewise, you can see that the number of cellular organelles are mainly absent in prokaryotes. While now next characteristic is the ribosome. Yes, ribosomes are present in both kind of cells, but the composition is different. While the prokaryote contains 70S, S stands for Swedberg unit. That is the unit for ribosomes. So 70S ribosomes are present into the cytoplasm of prokaryotes, while the 80S ribosomes are present in endoplasmic reticulum and 70S present in mitochondria of eukaryotes. Mesosomes. Here the mesosomes are present in prokaryotes, while in eukaryotes they are absent. Then sterols. The sterols are generally present into the cell wall, but prokaryotic cells do not contain the sterols, while eukaryotes contain the sterols in their cellular membrane. Then the cell wall. The composition of prokaryotic cells is cell wall is the peptidoglycan. So peptidoglycan is present into the prokaryotes, while peptidoglycan is absent in eukaryotes. Okay, and the examples of prokaryotic cells or prokaryotic organisms are bacteria and actinomycetes, while eukaryotic cells or organisms are fungi, plant and animal cells. So this is the main difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and this point is also important in exam point of view. Now, in detail about the first group of microorganisms, that is the bacteria. Firstly, we will see about introduction to bacteria. So, as we already discussed that the bacteria are prokaryotic, means their genetic material or DNA is not surrounded by nuclear membrane. Nucleus is absent. So, bacteria are unicellular. They are not multicellular. Unicellular, prokaryotic, free-living and microscopic microorganisms. The bacteria possess both DNA as well as RNA. Then the bacteria are mainly present everywhere. They are present or they occur in water, they occur in soil, air, food and all the natural environments. The bacteria are only microorganisms, means most of the bacterial cells are present into the air also. The bacteria are also present into our intestine, and that is mainly called as normal microbiota, which plays a very important role into our body, for example digestion, and kills various harmful microorganisms. So abundance nature of these bacteria are mainly there. So they are omnipresent. Then these bacteria are visible under the microscope, as these are the kind of microorganisms which cannot be observed with our naked eyes. The compound microscope is mainly required for their observation, but in order to study the internal cellular structure of bacteria, electron microscope is mainly required. The size of bacteria, we will see. There are generally two kinds of shapes of bacteria, that is cocci and bacilli. Cocci is generally 1 micrometer in diameter, while bacilli are rod shaped, whose length is 1 to 8 micrometer, while 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer in width. Cocci are round shaped, while bacilli are rod shaped bacteria. Then we will see morphological classification of bacteria. So on the basis of shape, the bacterial cells are mainly classified as cocci, bacilli, then vibrios and spirilla and spirochetes. As we already discussed that cocci are spherical or oval in shape. For example, Micrococcus is the name of bacterial species. Then next shape is bacilli, which are rod shaped, for example Bacillus anthracis. Then next shape is vibrios, which are comma shaped, for example Vibrio cholera. Then spirilla, which are longer rigid rods with several curves, for example Spirillum rubrum. And spirochetes, which are slender means slim and flexuous means curvy spiral forms. So all these are the shapes of bacteria. Now the cocci, generally cocci are of oval or spherical in shape. They mainly appear in several characteristic arrangements as follows. For example, first one is diplococci, cocci that split along in one plane and appear as pair, that is mainly called as diplococci. So this is the arrangement of bacterial cells, arrangement of cocci, and first arrangement is diplococci. So cocci means round shaped bacterial cells that split, means that divide along only one plane, and after reproduction they mainly appear as a pair, that is mainly called as diplococci. Di stands for two. Two cocci remain attached to each other, and that arrangement is mainly called as diplococci. Into the figure you can see here, it is the diplococci. Cocci which mainly divides only one plane, and that mainly appears as, and that pair is mainly called as diplococci. Next one is streptococci, the cocci that divide in one plane but which forms a chain of round shaped cells, and that arrangement is mainly called as streptococci. Into the figure you can see cocci which divide into single plane only, but the chain of round shaped cells is mainly formed, and that is mainly called as streptococci. Next one is tetracocci, the cocci or cells which divide in two planes and live in a group of four. Tetra stands for four, so these cocci live in a group of four, that is mainly called as tetracocci. Here you can see the single cocci mainly divides into two planes, and that mainly appear as group of four, and that arrangement is mainly called as tetrad or tetracocci. Then staphylococci, the cells divide in three planes and produce a bunches as in grapes, that is mainly called as staphylococci. Here you can see the staphylococci, this one, the bacterial, the cocci mainly divides into the three planes and which forms the group of cells like which look like a grapes, bunch of grapes. So that arrangement is mainly called as staphylococci. The next one is sarcinae. The cells divide in three planes and produce a group of 8 cells. Here you can see into the figure, these are the sarcinae. Now bacilli also appear in characteristic arrangements as follows. Bacilli means rod-shaped bacterial cells. They split only across their short axis. There are two kinds of characteristic arrangements in case of bacilli, that is diplobacilli and streptobacilli. As we already discussed, diplo means two, that is diplobacilli, they appear as pairs, while streptobacilli appear as chain. Here diplobacilli, two bacilli cells remain attached to each other, while streptobacilli means the chain of rod shaped cells. So that kind of arrangement is streptobacilli. Okay, so this is the morphological classification of bacteria or the arrangement of cocci as well as bacilli. Yes, this is the figure, these are the images. Here you can see the cocci, bacilli and other forms. The shapes of bacterial cells has been given. Cocci, that is coccus means single cocci, diplococci means two cocci, there it is two round shaped cells, tetrad means four cocci, sarcinae, streptococci means chain of cocci, while staphylococci means the bunch of cocci. Bacilli, which is rod shaped, Coccobacillus, Bacillus, Diplobacillus, two bacilli, Streptobacillus, chain of bacilli. Then other shapes are also been given. Spirilla, which are the long curvy rods, while spirochetes are also been given. Vibrios, which we can see, which are a comma-like shaped bacterial cells. Now, the structure of bacterial cells, here you can see into the image, it is the actual structure of bacterial cell. There are various parts of bacterial cell. We will go from outward to inward. The outermost part of the bacterial cell is the flagella. Here you can see it is the flagella, which is the long hair-like structure which numerous flagella are mainly present. Then next to the flagella there is the pili and fimbriae. Here you can see pili. These are the pili which are somewhat shorter than the flagella. Then next to the pili there is the cell wall. Cell wall is also the outermost covering of the bacterial cell. In some of the bacterial cells, capsule may be present which surrounds the cell wall. Then inside the capsule there is the plasma membrane, and inside the plasma membrane there is the cytoplasm. Here cytoplasm, and inside the cytoplasm there are various cytoplasmic inclusion as well as various we can say components of cytoplasm are mainly there. For example, ribosome is there, basal body is there, then number of infoldings, plasma membrane is there, cytoplasmic inclusion is there. Okay, so it is the structure of a bacterial cell. Then we will see first part of the bacterial cells, that is the flagella. Flagella are long filamentous cytoplasmic appendages. Appendages means external body, which are 12 to 30 micrometer in length and which are projecting through the cell wall and contain the contractile protein called as flagellin. Okay, so flagella is the outermost part of any bacterial cell which mainly extend through the cell wall and which is mainly longer one, whose length is about 12 to 30 micrometer in length. These are the organs of locomotion. Locomotion means motility. With the presence of flagella, bacterial cells can move from one place to another place. That is mainly called as motility, and this is possible with the help of flagella. So, large number of bacteria including few coccal forms, most of the bacilli and almost all the spirilla and vibrios are motile by means of flagella. Means here we can see that the coccal forms means cocci, means most of the cocci do not contain the flagella, means most of the cocci are non-motile, while most of the bacilli contains the flagella, means they are motile, while almost all the spirilla and vibrios are motile because they contains the flagella. Motility of bacteria can be observed microscopically using hanging drop technique. The hanging drop technique is mainly included into our routine practicals, so that we are going to perform. So, motility of bacteria can be observed macroscopically, and the method is mainly hanging drop technique. The procedure we will see into the practicals. Then flagella. The number and arrangement of flagella are characteristic of each bacteria as follows. That is monotrichous, means presence of only single flagella. Here into the first figure you can see only single flagella is mainly present and the arrangement is monotrichous. Then lophotrichous, two or more flagella only at one side of the cell. Here you can see two or more flagella into the lophotrichous. Then amphitrichous, single flagella at both sides of the cell. Here single flagella at both sides of the cell, then that arrangement is amphitrichous. Then peritrichous, several flagella present all over the surface. Here on the all over surface of the cell the flagella are mainly present and the arrangement is peritrichous. Okay, so on the basis of flagella arrangement also bacteria can be divided: monotrichous, lophotrichous, amphitrichous and peritrichous. Now we will see what are the different parts of flagella. The flagella has three parts: filament, hook and basal body. First one is the filament, which is thin, cylindrical and long outermost region which is made up of protein, flagellin. Then hook, filament is attached to the slightly wider hook, and basal body which is composed of small central rod inserted into series of rings, that is L ring, P ring, S ring and M ring. So LPSM rings are mainly present. So here you can see the structure of flagella. First part is filament, then hook and basal body. Filament is longer rod, hook is mainly attached to the filament, while basal body contains a series of rod is mainly inserted into the series of rings. First ring is L ring. L stands for lipopolysaccharide layer. This layer is mainly present into the cell wall of bacteria. The next ring is P ring. P stands for peptidoglycan layer. Then S ring. S stands for semi-position of the membrane, and M ring means which extends from cytoplasmic membrane. So likewise the rod is mainly inserted into these kind of rings. So this is the structure of flagella. Now the next part of bacterial cell is fimbriae or pili. Pili are hair-like filaments which are generally shorter than flagella. Length is 0.5 to 2 micrometer, while the diameter is about 5 to 7 nanometer. They are very thinner, shorter and more numerous than flagella, means number of pili or fimbriae is more as compared to flagella. They play a very important role into the attachment, means in order to attach for the bacteria to any other surface or any kind of nutrient, the pili or fimbriae plays very important role. Next component of bacterial cell is capsule. The capsule is also called as glycocalyx, slim layer or sugar coat. It is called as glycocalyx because it contains number of polysaccharides. It is called as slim layer, which is very thinner one, or it is also called as sugar coat because number of sugars, glucose, sucrose mainly secrete out of the bacterial cell and they get deposited which surrounds the cell wall. So that kind of structure is mainly called as capsule. So capsule is mainly composed of water, complex polysaccharide, polypeptide or hyaluronic acid. Capsule mainly protect the bacteria from antibacterial agents which inhibits the phagocytosis and promote attachment to the surfaces. So capsule plays an important role for protection of bacteria from antibacterial agents like certain antibiotics and many more, antiseptics also, disinfectants also. So protection to the bacteria is mainly provided by the capsule. Then it inhibits phagocytosis also. Phagocytosis is the mechanism of immunity. The immunity is mainly provided into our WBCs. So these WBCs protect us from various foreign materials like bacteria also. But if the capsule is present which surround the bacterial cells, then the process of phagocytosis is mainly inhibited. And another function of capsule is also attachment to various surfaces. Then capsulated bacteria means which contains the capsule, and non-capsulated bacteria means which do not have capsule. So capsulated bacteria produce smooth colonies on the surface of agar media. So colonies, agar media are these are the terminologies which are there into the subject of microbiology. The colonies means the microbiological lab involves the identification of bacterial cells, cultivation or growth of bacterial cells. So in order to study the bacteria, firstly we will have to grow the bacterial cells, and for growth culture medium is mainly required. So culture media is a mixture of nutrients which provides various essential nutrients for the growth of microorganisms. So different culture media are mainly available into microbiological lab. Those are mainly used for growth of microorganisms. And after the growth of these bacteria, the colonies, or in short these are the mass of cells, is mainly formed. That is mainly called as colonies. So if capsule is present surrounding the cell wall of bacteria, then the colonies produced are very smooth one. Okay. Then these bacteria are usually non-motile as flagella remain unfunctional in presence of it. Okay, so if capsule is mainly there which surrounds the cell wall, then the flagella remains unfunctional, and that's why the capsulated bacteria are usually non-motile. The next component or important component of the bacterial cell is cell wall. The cell wall of bacterial cell is somewhat complex semi-rigid structure which is mainly responsible for the shape of the cell. The bacterial cell wall is composed of macromolecular network called as peptidoglycan. As we already discussed that peptidoglycan is mainly present in the prokaryotes and it is absent in the eukaryotes. So peptidoglycan is the major composition of cell wall of bacteria which is present either alone or in combination with other substances. Peptidoglycan mainly consists of repeating disaccharide attached by polypeptides to form a lattice that surrounds and projects the entire cell. The disaccharide portion is mainly made up of monosaccharides called as N-acetylglucosamine and N-acetylmuramic acid, which are related to the glucose. Okay, so peptidoglycan is the mainly consists of three parts, that is a backbone which is composed of N-acetylglucosamine and N-acetylmuramic acid, a set of tetrapeptide side chains which is attached to N-acetylmuramic acid, and a set of pentapeptide cross bridges. The backbone is same for all the bacterial species. Tetrapeptide side chains and pentapeptide cross bridges vary from species to species, but the most commonly found side chains contains 4 amino acids, that is alanine, D-alanine, glutamic acid and diamino pimalic acid. So on the basis of composition of cell wall, the bacterial cell wall can be divided into two types, that is gram positive and gram negative cell wall. The difference between gram positive and gram negative cell wall, the cell wall is mainly called as gram. The name has been given because the staining, gram staining was mainly discovered by a scientist whose name is Christian Gram, and that's why the staining is mainly called as gram staining. And on the basis of gram staining, we can divide the bacterial cells into two categories, that is gram positive and gram negative. The gram staining also we are going to perform in regular practicals. We are also going to cover by preceding lectures. The main difference between gram positive and gram negative bacteria is on the basis of components. For example, thickness. Gram positive cell wall is thick while gram negative cell wall is very thin. Then peptidoglycan is more in gram positive, peptidoglycan content is less in gram negative. Teichoic acid is present in gram negative while it is absent in gram negative. Polysaccharide is present in gram positive while it is absent in gram negative. Yes, lipids are less in gram positive while they are more in gram negative. So the basic difference between gram positive and gram negative cell wall is that peptidoglycan is more in gram positive while it is gram negative, while lipids are less in gram positive and they are more in gram negative. And due to this difference in composition, both kind of bacteria show different response to the gram staining, and that's why after performing the gram staining we can differentiate between gram positive cells as well as gram negative cells. After or at the end of gram staining, the gram positive cells appear as violet in color while gram negative cells appear as red or pink in color. The cell wall means the cell wall of gram positive is somewhat simple while cell wall of gram negative is complex. It is called as complex because lipids are more. That's why the cell wall of gram negative is complex. Then next component is outer membrane and periplasmic space, which is absent in gram positive while it is present in gram negative. Then effect of lysozyme. Lysozyme is the enzyme which causes the lysis of cell wall. So effect of lysozyme means which easily destroys the gram positive, while gram negative cells are resistant to the effect of lysozyme. Then example of gram positive cell wall or bacteria are Bacillus anthracis and Staphylococcus aureus, while example of gram negative are Escherichia coli and Salmonella typhi. So this was the basic difference between gram positive and gram negative. The next structure or next part of the we can say bacterial cells, related with bacterial cells, is the endospores. When essential nutrients are depleted, means which are not available, then certain gram positive bacteria such as those of genera Clostridium and Bacillus form specialized resting cells called as the endospores. Means all the bacterial species do not produce the endospores. Only certain genera, for example Clostridium and Bacillus, these kind of genera only form the specialized resting cells or spores, and these are mainly called as the endospores. When released into the environment, they can survive extreme heat, lack of water, and exposure to many toxic chemicals as well as radiation. So these endospores can remain dormant, means can live for thousands of years because their structure is very tough one. They can survive at extreme heat. They can survive in absence of water also. The process of endospore formation within a vegetative cell takes several hours, and the process is mainly called as sporulation, while the endospore returns to its vegetative state by a process of germination. So the spores are mainly formed by this process of sporulation, and those spores can again be converted into the vegetative cell by the process of germination. So we can say the endospores is the process of preservation, that is not the process of reproduction of bacterial cells. When certain nutrient is not available for the bacterial cell, and in case of that danger situation, the bacterial cell can be converted into the spores. And when the nutrients become available for the growth as well as survival, then that formed spore is again converted back into the cellular state by the process of germination. So here into the image you can see the structure of the endospore. The outermost region is exosporium. Next to the exosporium there is spore coat, then inner membrane, then spore cytoplasm, and spore cortex. Means the innermost part of the endospore is the spore cytoplasm or core, which also contains the DNA as well as genetic material. Okay, so this was the contents of today's presentation. Thank you.